Did you know that science is now saying by the year 2030, humans should be able to live at least 120 years old? And then by the year 2050, they're expecting that people will be able to extend their lifespan to 150 years. Okay, so I'm going to go with the 120-year thing. So that means that when I turned 60, that I was at half life. But instead of having a midlife crisis at that age, I'm like, God, you know what? I looked through different decades and I said, God, I kept repeating that. It's just the players were different. The circumstances may have been different, but it was the same pattern. So I've decided that at 60, I started over. And I'm going to live another 60-year-old's life, right? From 60 on. So at 66 now, I am actually 6. And I've decided to do some things like a 6-year-old with the wisdom of someone who's 66. Love that. Oh, okay. So I wrote down some things that had been studied by when they were looking at the Hunza people, which is in the blue zones where people live a long time. So I'm gonna tell you some things that I figure I'm gonna do. Okay, just like 5 things real quick. 1, sleep. Oh my God. Do you ever see what a 6-year-old is like whenever they don't have enough sleep? They're cranky as hell. Well, you ever see what a menopausal woman is like when she doesn't get enough sleep? Baby, I got more crank in my cranky than I even want to mention if I don't get my sleep. So my thing is making sure I get enough sleep because I'm really going for quality of life just in case I live that whole 60 years, right? Moving along. Number 2, eat. What I put in my mouth is important, but not just eating from here. It's eating from here. What I put in my eyes, what I allow myself to take in through my eyes and eat with my eyes, what I allow myself to take in through my ears and listen to, because I'm eating there too. What I'm putting on my skin. What I'm allowing to actually go into my mouth also determines what's going to come out of my mouth. Okay. And that means if I'm putting funky stuff in, funky stuff is going to come out because it's going to mess with my mind and the rest of my body. And I'm not going to be that happy. And so I'm going to have an attitude, and that's not good. Now, as a 6-year-old, there are things that I like. I want it to be sweet. I want it to be good and tasty. But as a 66-year-old with wisdom, because remember, I'm throwing wisdom into the mix here. I can't just be 6 because that means I got something else going on. So with wisdom at 66, I know that if I'm going to put things on my plate, then they have to be things that I like and I enjoy eating, because it is very important to enjoy the meal. And I want it to be savory, not sugary, because I know sugar is also going to give me a whole different thing going on. You ever see how a 6-year-old bounces off the walls? You give them a bunch of sugar. But if you give them good stuff, then they can think, they can learn, they can process better. And that's the same with me. I can think, I can process, and I'm always learning no matter what. So that takes me to the next thing. Protecting my peace. That goes into forgiveness. You ever see how a 6-year-old will go, oh, I'm hurt because, Timmy didn't like me, or they weren't nice to me, and blah, 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 so crying. Okay, at 66, I do have, people that maybe sometimes, I don't like the situation, and I may not cry about it outside, but it may hurt my feelings. However, what that 6-year-old does, when those kids come back and say, okay, we want to play again, all right, that 6-year-old forgives and they move on and they go and play. So at 66, I'm going to forgive and I'm going to move on. But I got wisdom to know that even if those people come back to me and I've seen who they are and how they are, that I'm going to protect my peace by forgiving them and not playing with them anymore, okay? So I'm going to protect my peace because I forgive, but I got wisdom. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. This is number 4, and that's exercise. Now, in the Hunza Valley where they live, these people that live this really long time, they got a lot of mountains and all that kind of stuff, so they get a lot of exercise in because they have all this really rough terrain. Well, if you don't got mountains, if you don't have mountains, if you don't have all this really harsh terrain, then just get out and walk. That's what I'm going to do. Breathe in the, I guess, smog, but I'm going to take those times to have some gratitude, to be happy about the fact that I can walk, I can see, I can hear the chirps, and whether I like it or not, I'm able to inhale the smog because I can inhale. So that's number 4. Now, number 5 is this. As much as I would like to live a long time, healthy life, there's not a whole lot I can control when it comes to the quantity of my life to ensure it. But there are things that we can do to ensure the quality of our life. So for me, I've decided that I'm going to smell the roses and I'm going to enjoy this life. And I'm going to smell these roses until all the petals fall off. All of them petals.